Welcome back, everybody, to another Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We're going to be right back with this week's guest, but as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. So I'm telling you, take 3 minutes, listen to these shout outs, then listen to our Toolbox Extra, then go and visit these sponsors. They're great companies. You should have them working for you. Here we go. Hey, we want to say thanks to our good friends at Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, in my school, we use surveys for everything, for student athletes, for coaches, for parents. And here's the cool part. The information that came back on these surveys was incredibly positive and incredibly valuable, especially when you're visiting with a frustrated parent. Sometimes your principal, sometimes even your school board. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you truly take the pulse of everybody in your program. athleticsurveys.com. We also want to thank Hometown. Hometown solutions that include things like, digital ticketing, of course, but how about athletic website construction, fee-free fundraising? You really need to check out what they can do for you. Whether you're a principal, an athletic director, even a coach, Hometown's going to show you how to save time, how to raise more money, and how to bring your community together. You'll find it all at hometown.com. We also want to say thanks to Booster Hub. Booster Hub is the #1 Booster Club software program, and it's the platform your boosters need. It's the platform they deserve. Things like sponsorship payments, meal fees, concession sales, it all flows through their secure system. Volunteer signups, volunteer changes, you know it's going to happen. Booster Hub takes care of everything. Everybody stays engaged, nothing falls through the cracks. Go to boosterhub.com for more information. And don't forget to mention you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. We want to say thanks to Gipper. Gipper's the modern marketing platform that can take your athletic program and make it look like it's Division I, even pro level. Gipper's used and trusted by over 20,000 high schools and colleges. It's professional graphic design made easy. Thousands of professionally designed templates that you can customize with your brands, your colors, your logos. Create, share, and schedule all your social media in one simple platform. And that platform is Gipper. Go to Gipper.com to get started. Home Campus. It's a platform you're going to use every day. Scheduling, rosters, results, facilities. Did I mention athletic clearance and eligibility? That one alone is a game changer. Go to homecampus.com to find out all the things they can do for you and your department. Homecampus.com. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Okay, I've said it many times on this show that probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Schedule that live web demo today. We also want to say thank you to Huddle. You know, as a football coach, I used Huddle for years, but as an AD, I made sure we were a Huddle school. And our coaches, our student athletes, even our parents just love the platform. Go to huddle.com, join the 100 million users and fans, and turn your school into a Huddle school. That's huddle.com. We want to say thanks to Vital Signs, Wall of Fame, and Beacon Creative for their support. Now, Wall of Fame has been helping schools bring their legacy to life for over a decade, but Beacon Creative helps take it to a new level. Beacon is a content creation service, and they're going to take your stories, your history, your kids, and come up with compelling narratives that you can then post on social media, maybe on a Wall of Fame video board. I want you to reach out to John Townsend, and you can do that by emailing John, John, at beaconwalloffame.com. Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. It's a winning team that you should be a part of. And we want to say thanks to Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Now, full disclosure, I didn't get my master's through the Ohio program, but my assistant athletic director did, along with thousands of others, and it was a great experience. And while they were earning their degree, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Check out Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. And make sure you tell them you heard about it on the Educational AD Podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD podcast. We're going to Tennessee today, and our guest is Bobby Whitson. Bobby is a sport technology consultant, has a tremendous background in sports and athletics. He's also the founder of Big Board Sports, and you can find that at bigboardsports.com. We're going to hear all about that and more, but Bobby Whitson, welcome to the Educational AD podcast.
Well, Jake, thanks for having me here. It's exciting to connect with you and look forward to talking to folks a little bit about Big Board and our journey and how we got to where we are.
Oh, we've got some great friends up there in Tennessee, starting with Mike Elson, the executive director of the Tennessee Athletic Directors Association. Worked with Mike for years at the national level, and he does a great job up there. But let's go and jump right in. We always like to let our listeners have a chance to get to know our guests. So give us your quick bio, where you were born, where you grew up. We're going to jump into your career journey later on, but what's the Bobby Whitson origin story?
Well, thanks for that. I don't get that question a whole lot. So, born and raised in Nashville, Tennessee. Went to a really good school up here in Nashville called Montgomery Bell Academy. Had the good fortune to go sit on the bench for a year at Furman University down in Greenville, South Carolina, watching everybody else play baseball. I wasn't quite good enough to get out there and do that, but lifelong Tennessean back here in the Nashville, Franklin area now. And really have enjoyed the opportunity to work in sports entertainment. Coming out of college, I didn't know if you weren't playing sports, I didn't know you could have a career in sports. And
Right.
right, so I stumbled my way into this market almost 3 decades ago, and have really enjoyed the opportunity to work in the sports and entertainment space. And I'm encouraging more and more young people, even if you're not inclined to play the games, right? Just to get involved in sports because we all love sports. There's so many ways to make a living in sports that do not involve your picking up a ball or a bat or putting on a helmet.
Well, you're absolutely right. I want to talk about that a little bit later. I want to go back to your story. So growing up, I think I'm a lot older than you. When you were in school, you mentioned baseball. Did you do other sports, or were you a one sport guy?
No, Jake, back then we all played multi-sport, right? So football, basketball, baseball. I was better on the football field, but I love baseball. I was not very good on the basketball field or basketball court, but I played because we needed the numbers, right? We just didn't have the numbers back then. So you played all three sports typically here in Tennessee anyway. Had we had lacrosse at the time, I think that would have been my perfect place to fit. But we didn't have it back in the 80s. But yeah, multi-sporter. Even though I looked like an offensive lineman, I was a defensive back. Loved to hit people. And anyway, just found myself on the baseball field and enjoyed my illustrious career in Carolina.
Oh no, and again, you're absolutely right. I went to high school and college in the decade of the '70s, but three sports. I was football, basketball, and track. I was not good at baseball at all, at all. I found that out very quickly. But when you mention lacrosse, I say that all the time. I think if they had lacrosse, I grew up in Oregon and Washington. If they had lacrosse back in the day, running around hitting people with a stick, that has me written all over it. So.
I think
Absolutely.
a lot of us, right? I think a lot of us that had good hand-eye coordination. We were athletic, maybe not quite big enough to play on a big stage in football or on a big stage in baseball, but we were good at both. Lacrosse was the perfect sport. I think we missed out.
Yeah, and that's I love to see lacrosse flourish. I had a great lacrosse coach at the school I was at as an AD, and just loved watching him and his coaches work with the kids. Baseball at Furman, you mentioned you saw a lot of the game from the dugout. Can you think back to those days? And again, we talk now. We look like, hey, remember that game? Remember that practice? Remember that bus ride? Do you remember an event, a lesson, if you will, that is still with you today in the business of sports technology that you learned while a Furman baseball player?
Yeah, I think the not being uh, restricted by your abilities, right? We've always talked. I've kind of been that guy that's done more with less. And even though I never made it on the field in my less than 1 year career at Furman, um, I think knowing that it was going to be difficult for me to ever crack the lineup, knowing that we had some really good talent on the field, still going in, putting the work in every day, working like I was going to play, doing everything that I could possibly do to make the team even. That was a big deal for me to put that jersey on, even though I never had a stat, right? Just to be able to put the jersey on meant a lot to me. It checked a box for me that, hey, I at least made it to this level, even though I didn't get the opportunity to spend a lot of time on the field or have a game-winning hit or a game-diving catch to say, to a game-winning catch to save the game. I think just sport in general teaches us so much, and the ability to play it, certainly at the high school level, but then also at the collegiate level, ever how brief that may be. The opportunity to get on that field is life changing for a lot of us. It teaches us a lot of us lessons that we carry forth in the professional space. And being able to stick through tough times, times when we didn't think a company is going to make it, times when we didn't think that our product was going to make it. All of those lessons that I learned early in life through sports were critical for me to have the success that we've been able to experience professionally here. I don't know if that
Uh,
answers your question, but there wasn't a single defining event for me at Furman.
no, but your point makes absolutely perfect sense. And you're in the business world. You've been very successful. Business leaders, they're looking for young people that have had those types of experiences. That have had to work hard and persevere and sacrifice for a team, not just look at me, me, me. No, great answer. I love it. Let's go and fast forward a little bit. You've had a journey that has led you now, and you're still doing a lot of things to found Big Board. What was that like? Coming out of college, you knew you weren't probably going to be a high draft pick, but how did your career journey get going, and what were a couple of the stops?
Yeah, so early on, I got a job. I just needed a job coming out of school, so I was fortunate enough to work for some folks that helped to mold my sales skill ability, my ability to, and primary skill number one is the ability to listen, right? No much salespeople love to talk, right? But the ones that are truly elite really have a skill set to be able to listen. So I honed that skill set early on, literally right out of school, with the help of some mentors. And probably 6 or 7 years after school, stumbled into the sports and entertainment space, having already learned a really solid skill set, and had the opportunity to go to market with a startup that had this concept of aggregating data before data was cool. We realized that from a marketing standpoint, if you put all of your data together about your fans, your constituents, your customers, you can understand them better. And then when you're able to understand them better, you can drive more revenue from them. You can increase your share of wallet from them, which were all marketing terms that we used to have back in the early 2000s. So we stumbled into that space, got to work. Our first client was the Nashville Predators when they came to Nashville back in 99, 2000. And we built a platform for them to bring in their ticketing data, their merchandise data, multiple data sets like food and beverage, and help them understand who Jake is across all of those disparate data sources. And then we help them drive more revenue from Jake and find people that look like Jake and sell more tickets, more merch, more food and beverage. Next thing we know, they showed that off to the NHL marketing meetings that they were having in, I think, Columbus at the time. And I get a phone call from the Blue Jackets. I get a phone call from the Avalanche and the Nuggets. And from there, we just started closing deals. And we looked up a few years later. We had most of the NFL, most of the NHL, most of the NBA contracts with all the leagues managing their data. and we just became the original database marketing solution platform for all of professional sports.
Wow. And you spoke earlier about finding jobs in sport, beyond playing or coaching, and just so many opportunities in those areas. Whether it's marketing or production or things like that. That had to be an exciting time. Seeing the company grow, but also seeing the reach of the company.
It sure was. I mean, we were just a little startup out of Nashville. We had 30 or 40 employees at the time. None of us were Harvard, MIT types, but we were the technology gurus. I remember my first ever trip to New York City. I landed at LaGuardia and drove straight to the NHL headquarters. And inside that room was, I don't know, 50, 60 people, all with MBAs from Harvard and Princeton and Yale, and certainly MIT folks in the room too. And I opened the meeting with a typical Southern way of saying, "How y'all doing?" And you literally could have seen the mouths drop open when they knew I was there to talk about IT. They knew I was there to talk about tech. And the second that Tennessee dialect spoke, it was shocking for the room. So, I tried to drop a little bit of that over the years, just to be taken a little more seriously. But it's certainly been a fun ride.
I'm laughing. Again, I grew up my career and everything in Oregon and Washington. We've been in Florida now for about 25 years, but we go back every summer. And when I drop y'all in front of my high school friends, they just roll their eyes and go, "Get out of here."
Absolutely,
uh,
absolutely. About times in the Pacific Northwest, working with Microsoft was a big partner of ours. So I spent a lot of time out at UW and Oregon and all that space. It's one of my favorite parts of the country. It's just absolutely stunningly gorgeous out there.
no, no, absolutely. Well, hey, we're gonna have to get you back on because I want to hear more about these stories. But let's talk about Big Board. How did that develop? What is it? Share with our listeners, and more importantly, how can it help them as athletic directors?
Thank you for that opportunity and for that question. So I think it comes across when I tell a little bit of the story. Again, if you think back about the background, data aggregation, getting all content in one place, so that it can empower your processes to be smoother, more efficient, more effective. Girl dad times three here, all thankfully much better athletes than I was, and all had some interest in playing in college. Daughter two and three actually were successful in that. But as I'm going through the recruiting process with daughters two and three, my wife and I looked at each other one day and we said, "This is just a mess." We've got like five different recruiting platforms that we've purchased, all at $300 to $500 a piece. We got other recruiting platforms that are calling us, telling us we're way behind, and if we pay them $2,500 or $5,000, they can guarantee our kid a scholarship. It was just massively confusing from a parental perspective. It was massively confusing from even a coaching perspective. I did a lot of coaching over the years. And here I am 30 years in sports, and I don't know how to get my daughters recruited. And so we literally went through the process with the first one. She was fortunate enough to sign a D1 deal to play lacrosse. Um, and then we said, "Hey, we can do this better." It's the same, the problems that we were talking about with all the disparate platforms and content everywhere is exactly what we saw for the NBA, the NFL, and the NHL. Let's go build a platform and make it better for moms and dads, make it better for the student athlete, make it better for the coaches, and then make it easier for college coaches to be able to find every single thing about your student athlete in one spot. Instead of going and searching Huddle and Twitter and every other platform that they have to go search, we wanted to aggregate it all together so I can get straight to your Huddle link. I can get straight to X. I can get straight to YouTube. Wherever you've got your content, I can get there. So we're not trying to replace Huddle. Huddle's a phenomenal platform. That's not our business. We just want to make it easier so that they can find student X across all those different entities. Does that make sense?
No, absolutely, it makes sense. And again, I encourage the listeners to check out the website bigboard.com. Excuse me, bigboardsports.com. After you listen to our podcast here, but for the athletic director that's listening, obviously this is something that could be program, department, or it could be coach to coach to coach. What are some features about the program that are going to appeal to the AD, the high school AD, and the high school coach? Although we do have a lot of college listeners too.
Yeah, so I think if you were to summarize us, we kind of want to be that easy button, right? We also want to be a platform to support the high school coaches. So our business model is a little different than other companies that are like us. We're not trying to go out and sell to mom and dad over here, mom and dad over there. We literally go in and partner with high schools to let them have a resource to augment the recruiting processes that their coaches are already going through. Most of the coaches have a spreadsheet, they have Google Docs, where they try to keep some of this information together. Our platform is a place where they can bring all that information together on each student athlete. It's also a big resource that the school can show the parents, look, we are committed to the recruiting process. We are committed to supporting you through the recruiting process. We make this platform available to you because the school pays us. So it's free for mom and dad. So we are here to support that process. And then more importantly, you've got another resource that isn't associated with the school that you can ask all the difficult questions that you don't want to ask us, right? What do my emails need to look like to college coaches? What do my highlight reels need to look like? Is this okay to ask a college coach? A resource to help guide your student athletes through this process and their families through this process, especially for high-end public schools, high-end private schools. If parents are writing a big check or they moved into a certain part of town for the kids to go to a certain area, there's an expectation that the schools are going to support them through that process, and we meet that expectation piece because the school makes us available to their parents and their student athletes.
I'm sure you've got hundreds of different success stories, as I like to call them. Can you share one or two real quickly about how the platform has helped find that I like to say the right fit for that student athlete and their family at the particular college?
Absolutely. One of my favorite stories so far comes out of the Marist School in Atlanta. We had a young family that had a student athlete, really good athlete. Got into the recruiting process a little bit late. Um, but I told the parents, look, it's going to be okay. He's good enough. He's going to find a home. They were hoping for a high academic or a significant D1 path. Um, sure enough, he starts getting some small school offers. We kind of walk them through the process of engaging college coaches and not just waiting for something to happen, right? This is we coach our families up to take an active approach, right? You own this process, reach out, have a methodology in place, have a frequency in place. And so they were doing this, and some smaller offers started to roll in. He starts having a really good year on the football field. And next thing we know, mid-level D1 schools are reaching out, and then he gets an SEC offer at a big school, and everybody was really excited for him and his family. They were on this roller coaster. They were excited that they had made it. And then at the end of the day, a high academic out of the Northeast comes in and says, look, we love kids from that school. They check so many boxes for us. We already know they're academically prepared. They are socially prepared to come in and be big contributors on campus. And he turns down the SEC offers, and he ends up taking an offer to the Northeast where he's going to have a great high academic career. He's going to walk out of there. With a degree. If he chooses to go to another level and play ball, that's fine. But he's going to walk out of there with a really high caliber degree that's going to affect his 35-year-old self. We talk about that regularly with our parents. We tried to get them not locked in on the 18, 19, 20, 21-year-old version of their child. We want to talk about their 35-year-old version, right? Is it great to take? Is it better to take a mid-level D1 offer, or should they look at a really high academic D3 if they've got that path? We have that conversation, right? And we try to help parents navigate that. And a lot of times we'll see these young men and women say, you know what, that route is really appetizing for me because I want a degree where I can walk out and have a really successful career.
Yeah, and I love that the college experience, the playing and the academic, certainly a big part of the life, but it's a part of the life. We do want to make sure we're looking at the rest of their life, those next 30 years. Great point. I already gave out the website, but let's give it out again, bigboardsports.com. If one of our listeners wants to reach out to you and pick your brain a little bit more about the platform, or just in general, add you to their network, sounds like a great resource. What's the best way that our listeners can connect with Bobby Whitson?
Absolutely. Super easy. It's just Bobby, Bobby, at bigboardsports.com. Bobby at bigboardsports.com. Absolutely hit me on LinkedIn. I'm pretty easy to find on there as well. But email me, and we would love to engage.
And I noticed that Big Board Sports is also on X and Instagram. So check it out. Find out what it can do for you. Bobby, thanks again for coming on the podcast. I think I do want to bring you back on and dive deeper into that tech story. Sounds incredible. All the best as you continue with Big Board, and hopefully we'll see you down the road at one of the athletic director or coach conferences.
Jake, thank you so much. Pleasure to connect with you. Thank you for letting me be on here for a few minutes. And I look forward to making this a little more regular conversation with us.
All right. Well, for our listeners, we want to say thanks and also remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of every interview to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Toolbox Extra just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So please come back and join us again for the next Toolbox Extra on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll see you next time. Before we go, of course, we want to say thanks to all of our great sponsors. And I encourage you to check these companies out. I've used them. They are great resources. They're great team members. They are time savers. Some of them are money makers, and they're all great companies. I want to say thanks to Hometown. Go to hometown.com for more information. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. You'll find them at sidelineinteractive.com. Huddle. I used it as a football coach. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com. Athletic surveys by LifeTrack. If you're not using a survey to take the pulse of your players, your coaches, your parents, you're missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Booster Hub. It's the #1 Booster Club software program. Go to boosterhub.com for more information. Home Campus is a platform you're going to use every single day. Go to homecampus.com. Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. Check them out. Gipper. It's professional graphic design for your athletic department made easy. How easy? It's so easy even I can do it. Go to gipper.com. Beacon Creative and Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Go to Beacon Creative to check out all the things that they can do for you and your department. Let's go and throw in K-12 Sports Tech. Go to k12sportstech.com. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on the Educational AD Podcast.